No, we have not forgotten about Puerto Rico at all. And as Florida is recovering from here, Hurricane Ian, and as the remnants of Ian make its way up the East Coast, Puerto Ricans are still going through it behind Hurricane Fiona and their power grid being knocked offline. A lot of people in Puerto Rico are now weeks without power, weeks without potable water, and are still very much in a dire, dire situation. And y'all's boy, Joseph Biden carried his ass down to Puerto Rico, and the audacity of hoes. That's all I can say. The audacity of hoes. We're going to get into the pledge that Joe Biden made money wise to Puerto Rico. We're also going to get into the ways in which some residents, is it Ponce? The part of the island, Ponce, the town where Joe Biden visited, the way the Secret Service treated residents living in Ponce. But before we do any of that, let us get to the fight, la lucha, right? Am I saying that right? The fight. So, because Puerto Ricans have been out in the streets, you know, Puerto Ricans don't have no chill. These big Bahamas is rowdy. I mean, rowdy in a good way, in a fighting way, of course. But, well, I guess maybe rowdy in another way too, depending on the ways in which you encounter said Puerto Ricans. But I digress. Let's get to the revolucion, or at least the fight here in PR, where people have been taking to the streets really for this entire duration since Fiona's aftermath. But the scenes that we're about to witness are Puerto Ricans protesting, marching to one of the locations of Luma Energy, which is the private energy firm that is overseeing Puerto Rico's deteriorating and dilapidated power grid, which has continued to fail, but it seems like the shit keeps failing on purpose, right? I mean, it's been failing on purpose for a number of years now, and it's just basically a money suck, this Puerto Rican power grid, that is, for American energy contractors to come and steal hundreds of millions of dollars from the island and not give the people back the services, not only of which they deserve, but they fucking require, right? So I want us to take a look at some of these protest scenes, because we need to see that the people are standing up, using their voices and using their power. So let's take a look at these two clips. They are back to back. And these clips are, let me just be clear here. So you're going to see one clip where shout out to our people. We love island people. The people then brought the band out to the protest. And they're talking about inequities and power restoration. And just to give a little bit of well, anyway, let me hold that. Let's look at the pictures and take a look at this protest footage coming out of Puerto Rico, demanding that their power be restored to everyone across the island. So I love those scenes there coming out of Puerto Rico. And just to give a loose translation, and Lord have mercy, every time I try to offer a loose Spanish translation all the Spanish speakers in the chat be like, Kim, we can't understand what the fuck you're saying. So I'm not going to even offer up a loose Spanish translation, but someone else offered up a translation of the song that the band was performing. And basically what the song said is that I can see today, I can see the lights over there at the other side. What about the southwest, meaning the southwest portion of the island? Where is Luma? Darkness over here, darkness over there. But how come I see lights over at the other side? Those are the lyrics of the song that the band, which by the way was jamming, the band was jamming. That's what they were singing. And another Twitter poster put this in context, put this specific protest that we saw on the southwest portion of Puerto Rico, where again, they were taking this protest to one of the Luma headquarters on the island. And someone here put this into context for us, because when the bandolero, when the band leader was talking, I hope that's the right word, when the band leader was talking about how come ain't no lights over here, but I see lights over there. One social media poster said, one bit of context to understand is that a lot of electric crews were pulled from southwestern Puerto Rico, where this protest was held, to fix up the city of Ponce because of Biden's visit. And that's not the helpful shit. That ain't the helpful shit that I would imagine Puerto Rican residents would expect when, well, no, I won't say would expect, but would hope would not happen when the U.S. president comes to visit. If you guys remember, after Hurricane Maria, Donald Trump's punk ass showed up and had the audacity to stand in front of a crowd of people trying to recover from the devastation of Hurricane Maria and just tossed out rolls of paper towels. Motherfucker, you could have stayed home. Nobody asked you to come down here and do fucking nothing, which was exactly what that was. But Biden, on the other hand, showed up. And now the people who were in the southwestern part of the island getting their lights hopefully restored, clearly not in a timely fashion because Hurricane Fiona is 2 weeks away from us now, but their restoration had to be abbreviated or halted altogether to accommodate the U.S. president. Now, ain't that the picture of neocolonialism? ain't that it? Ain't that imperialism? At least one sliver of an example of it. And speaking of Biden, so Biden showed up in Puerto Rico, in Ponce this week. And let me just read this for you. And I don't have this pulled up as an article, Will, because I'm trifling. But the long and the short of it is that Biden has made a pledge to Puerto Rico. And he said that Puerto Rico that we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that the island receives what it needs to recover. Actually, did I put that tweet up there, Will? Do I have that? Yeah, let's throw up that Biden tweet. That punk ass. No, can't stand it. Did I put it up there? That joint was jamming. That song was jamming. Let's put up this tweet from Joe Biden. Here we go. So Biden said, today I announced more than $60 million in funding to help coastal areas in Puerto Rico to become better prepared for storms. In addition, nearly $700 million in infrastructure investments in Puerto Rico have been announced since I signed the bipartisan infrastructure law. So can we do the maths? The gang? I know math was not my subject, not my strongest subject. In fact, I had to go to summer school a number of years during high school in order to meet my math requirements. Because, my maths personally do not be mathing, especially when it comes to shit like algebra and geometry, but I digress. But I can add and subtract like a motherfucker, okay? I can add and subtract some shit like a motherfucker, okay? Now, what's 700 plus 60? 760, right? $760 million is what Joe Biden claims is available for Puerto Rico, or soon will be available to invest in Puerto Rico's infrastructure, its crumbling infrastructure. Okay, so the stopgap measure bill that was passed this week, Biden signed that continuing resolution to keep the government funded. If he hadn't signed it yet, it's about to get signed, right? It's all in all a done deal. Well, the funny thing about that is, in that bill alone, Joe Biden is sending an additional $12 billion to Ukraine. That is 12 billion with a B. B. I didn't hear no B's mentioned in that number promised to be allocated for Puerto Rico. I just heard M's. I just heard M's. 760 million. And last I checked, 760 million is less than 1 billion. But Ukraine is getting 12 additional $billion on top of the many, many tens of billions that they've already received in the form of cash and weaponry, right? So we as a government are propping up Ukraine like shit, right? Meanwhile, Puerto Rico, oh, y'all get some crumbs. Oh, maybe them crumbs will be there a year, 2, 3, 4 years. Let's hope no major or even minor tropical storms or hurricanes come through the island and further decimate the infrastructure there whilst people are waiting for the American government, the corrupt American government, because basically that's the only reason. Well, that and racism, obviously. I guess there's a number of reasons. But corruption, y'all, is the heart of this. Like the racism, very clearly, yes. The subjugation of Puerto Rico as a colony. People were saying, oh, Puerto Rico needs to have statehood. The fuck it does. No, it doesn't. Don't think that even if Puerto Rico was a state, it would receive better treatment. Look at what happened in Flint, Michigan. Look what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi. You know, statehood doesn't mean that they treat the darkies better at all. No, it doesn't mean that at all. So Puerto Rico, an American Commonwealth, an American colony, receiving decidedly significantly less aid than the whites in Ukraine. And to add insult to injury, further insult to injury, when Joe Biden went to Ponce to visit, again, send the check, dog. You don't need the hand deliver the fucking check, Joe. you could have cash app them billions that Puerto Rico is long overdue for. You could have cash app that shit. Puerto Rico didn't need to see you in the spot. But to make things worse, when Biden got to Ponce, his Secret Service told the local ass Ponce Police Department to tell the residents there of Ponce not to leave their homes while the president was visiting. I'm sorry, what? Don't go outside. Like literally don't go outside? Don't go outside. Hold on. Listen to the police officer, this lady. I would call her a nice lady, but she is a cop. So maybe she's not so nice. But she was trying to say the shit nice, and it's going to be all in Spanish. So Spanish speakers, y'all should pick this up without any problem. I will attempt again at a translation once we come out of this clip. But listen to what the police and the Secret Service were telling the residents of Ponce, Puerto Rico, when President Joe Biden came to visit.
Bueno, aquí como siempre, pues sí, todo bien. Estamos aquí entrevistando al caballero.
Pero la policía no pueden estar aquí. El servicio secreto de ellos no pueden estar si están en una residencia después del portal.
Okay.
En la acera no pueden estar.
Okay.
Claro que sí.
Yup. So there's that. So let me give y'all again my loose translation here, but that was the Secret Service basically informing Puerto Rican police to let them know that the residents in the community surrounding President Biden's stop in Ponce, that they are not allowed to leave their homes for as long as the president is there. What in the fuck? And I saw some fucking brown-nosing ass dickheads in some of the comments talk about, oh, that's protocol. People can't leave their houses when the president visits. Do you understand that people don't have electricity, that they don't have air conditioning, that they might want to have the right to go outside and stand outside? They don't even have the right to gaze upon Joe Biden's overly Botoxed head and face. What? Come on. How is that is totally anyway. Listen. People of color, non-white people, do not have freedom of movement. We do not have freedom of speech. We do not have freedom of assembly. We do not have freedom to bear arms. All the shit that's in the Constitution, there's asterisks next to that shit, except Negroes, Afro Negroes, wannabe Afro. I mean, it's a madness. It's a madness. So literally, the levels of disrespect that the people on the island of Puerto Rico continue to experience is something that we, number one, need to be clocking, keeping track of, making notice of, and trying to amplify the people in Puerto Rico who, again, have no problem standing up and making themselves heard. It is imperative upon us here to make sure that the voices and the concerns of the issues that they're legitimately bringing up, which to me and really to everybody else, these are human rights issues. These are human rights issues. If people don't have access to water, power, regular survival things, which seems to happen every other hurricane season, how much longer are these people expected to live like this, to survive like this? And the American corruption allowing billions of dollars to be just fred away by these private energy companies that get these contracts. We saw on a previous show here and look back at what was happening under the aftermath of Hurricane Maria while Donald Trump was still in office, and the no-bid contract worth over $300 million that one of Ryan Zinke's cronies got. And they didn't do shit. They didn't do shit. And now Luma is down there not doing shit and actually having the audacity to charge Puerto Ricans higher rates for energy with, as my grandmother would say, worser service. The service is worser, and they're charging people more. Burn capitalism to the fucking ground, everybody. Burn it fucking down. Jose! Come through, Jose. Thank you so much for your super chat, baby. Jose says, thank you for reporting on Puerto Rico. The island needs independence. Okay, but listen, I want whatever Puerto Ricans want. If Puerto Ricans want to be independent, whatever the fuck Puerto Ricans want, that's the shit I want. The island needs independence. We also need to get rid of interlopers such as Logan Paul, who are buying land. Man, listen. Anytime when certain white folks be like, oh, we're moving on from racism. We're not trying to repeat the mistakes of our ancestors. The fuck they not. The fuck they aren't, to make it make sense. Of course, Logan Paul is down there buying land in Puerto Rico. That's very on brand. And I don't even need to know the history of the Paul family to know that this is all on brand with colonizing whites. So that is very sad to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. But thank you so much, Jose, for your super chat support. And who is this? Is that Norman Witch? That's Dee Dee. Dee Dee said some money, and Dee Dee said, that is some bullshit. Yes, Northern Witch, it is some bullshit. It is some bullshit. So big up PR. And there are mutual aid organizations on the ground. And for reasons, I was trying to copy paste some shit into the show notes. And I know y'all like Kim. Stop lying. You do not put show notes. I be trying. And technology do not be cooperating with me, but trust, listen, the people in PR are saying, do not give to the Red Cross. Don't give money to FEMA. If you want to help out Puerto Ricans, there are mutual aid groups out there that are available for your support, and will do a better job, I'm certain, of making sure that those resources get distributed in the best way. So, all right, guys, we want to send love to Puerto Rico. You know what? I'm not going to even try to say no Spanish. Keep up the fight, PR. Keep up the fight. We are standing with you. We're standing with you.